Hello, friends, and welcome to today's episode of Booked. We have a special edition episode today. So, Sarah Arnu has organised this first ever book selection box. And before I keep rambling on, I'm going to let Sarah take the floor. Thank you so much for organising this.
Thank you for letting me steal your platform because I couldn't be bothered to do my own. Uh,
It's easier, it's built in already, isn't it?
it's easier, yes. So today we've got 6 readings from 6 wonderful, fantastic authors who I love them all very much, even though they don't know me very well. It's right in time for Indie April as well.
Yes, it's perfect timing. It was
Yeah.
definitely orchestrated in such a way.
Yes, and you should buy everyone's book.
Yes. There are links in the description of this episode, so you better go do that because otherwise I'll come and find you.
Yeah, and it won't be good.
Wouldn't be good. But yeah, so what have we got coming? What's going to happen?
So we have live readings from 4 authors, and we've got video recordings from Ellen Holmes and Hannah R. Goodman. And then we're going to have a bit of a chat afterwards.
A little bit of a chat. Oh,
Yeah. So if you've got any questions, just drop them in the chat and we'll have a chat about it all later.
Lots of chatting going
Too
on.
many times, it's not a word anymore.
What's a chat?
I don't know what I'm talking about, obviously.
No, you do. You do. It's just, this is very, very exciting. And we're hoping that this isn't going to be the last one that we ever do. So if you're watching this, please subscribe to the channel.
Yes.
Follow everyone.
Let's have fun, though, if you want another selection box so I can hustle her into letting me do another one.
I'm gonna like pre-approve 4. So you got a year's worth.
Got a year.
Yeah, you got a whole year to prove yourself.
Yeah. Will I get these people back for an entire year? Maybe if I haunt them.
Oh dear. So I think my camera's lagging a little bit, so apologies for that. But who have we got up first?
So our first author is Evan J. Peterson. Evan J. Peterson is a game writer, novelist, monsterologist, and poet. His first novel, Better Living Through Alchemy, won the Small Spec Book Award for fantasy fiction, and his other works include Metaflesh, Poems in the Voices of the Monster, Dragstar, the world's first drag performer RPG, and The Road to Innsmouth, Arkham Horror. His writing has appeared in Weird Tales, Pseudopod, Quiz Destroy Horror, and Nightmare Magazine. Posthuman, his next RPG, is out now. I think it came out this week.
Yes.
And that was with Choice of Games. And you can find everything else at evanjpeterson.com.
Amazing. And the link is in the description. So I think it's time for our first reading.
Yeah.
Okay.
Please welcome Evan J. Peterson. I will tell if...
What?
I will tell if they're not clapping for everyone in the chat.
Sarah, don't do that to me. I'm going to go over Evan's screen now.
Yeah.
Sorry, Evan.
Hi. I expect that I am on your screen. Or am I in your screen? Hi, I'm Evan J. Peterson. They said who I am and what I do. Thank you so much, Saffron and Sarah, for having me on. Thank you to my fellow readers. Thank you to Ellen Holmes for running the Small Spec Book Awards, which I won for fantasy last year. That was amazing. Yeah, Better Living Through Alchemy. And the new game is Posthuman from Choice of Games. Okay, so I think I'm going to read something that I wrote a while ago, but it has not come out yet. So here I'll be in with my collection of carnivorous plants and reading you a story called Traces of Indigo. Dew met Lucy in New York. Amid the clink of glass and the scents of liquors and human sweat, Lucy's voice filled the basement nightclub. She reminded Dew of Josephine and Paris during his time of tasting and learning celebrities. The very culture of fame was still a novelty then. He'd tired of it already. Josephine, had it been 8 decades? Almost 9. On certain nights at the club, Lucy sang the songs Dew had loved. Bye Bye Blackbird, La Vie en Rose. On other nights, Lucy took the pop songs of her own time and sang them the way Josephine would have. Jazz interpretations of synthetic digital anthems, canceling at a single blow all the cynicism and irony. How could Dew resist her? Their first night together kept to his familiar pattern: drinks, sex, the barter of compliments. The indigo passed between them without Lucy noticing. The next morning, he woke in her bed to find her already feverish. Dew, I don't feel good at all. I think you should go. He examined this woman, her dark skin, the fever tinting her eyes a little blue outside the irises. Please let me stay, he coerced. I'd like to take care of you while you're ill. He liked her company. He didn't like many of them. She let him buy her groceries. He bought her juices and sweet ices, though he knew these would not cool her fever. When she let him bathe her, he explored her thoroughly, dragging one washcloth and then another along her folds and nooks. She scrutinized him as well, irritated by the fever. God, you're precise. It's like you've never seen a woman up close before. He smiled at the notion. Is that what it's like? The thoughts started coming then, soft, and he knew she had given in and the fever had broken. She asked him to step out while she took a proper shower. He pulled the stopper from the drain. Dew rarely wonders anymore whether he is something extraterrestrial or domestic, whether he is parahuman or something entirely other. Taxonomy is the snow obscuring the mountain. His understanding of himself is rooted in what he does, not what he is. What he does is observe. He is an autonomous sensory organ, a bundle of nervous tissue for the universe to better know itself. Dew has lived for centuries, and he may live forever. The past is one pool of time, all experience happening at once. It's distracting, and so he doesn't linger on it. He drowns out memory by binging on the thoughts of others. He can hear Lucy, can feel her sensations, though she asked him to leave after a week. She said it didn't feel right, and he read in her thoughts that she feared him. No bother. He can read her anytime he wants. Throughout the 20th century, he consumed films, but they always failed. Despite earnest efforts, films do not reveal what it means to be human. Not entirely. They reveal what humans wish it means. In Kyoto, he met Eri, an intense woman with a flair for nostalgia and glamour. She wore black and only black. To her, 40 years in the past could be nostalgia, the wishful romance of memories she was too young to have. She brought him new films every night, and he held her in the screen glow, the snow falling outside and erasing the world. Her enthusiasm nourished him through an unusually harsh winter. She rolled his name around at their first meeting. Du. That's a Chinese name. You don't look Chinese. How did you come to have a Chinese name? The bar was dim, but the polished cedar fixtures and surfaces spread the light glowing from behind the bottles. I'm not Chinese, he told her, trying a new liquor. They seemed to get worse each decade. So what are you? Eri asked him. Humans ask the same questions, year after year. You're mixed, I assume. Mixed how? 1 part body, 5 parts mind. The rest is irrelevant. She gave him a playful frown. As they coupled the first time, as he gave her the indigo and made her his host, she talked. He hadn't known a talker like her like this in years. "You're a tricky one, aren't you, Du?" she said, riding him. "You have an answer for every question. No one ever really gets to know you, do they?" Du directed some of his neurons to the task of determining why some humans, regardless of nation or sex, say such things during intercourse. When they'd exhausted her library of films predating the 1960s, he asked for more science fiction. She showed him Barbarella and The Fifth Element. He showed her The Man Who Fell to Earth and Blade Runner, surprised that she enjoyed the latter much more than the former. "I don't get Bowie," she said. "Don't you like The Hunger?" "I like Deneuve in The Hunger. I like Deneuve in everything. Bowie tries too hard to be odd." "From you, Eri, of all people," he retorted. "Duh, was that a joke? From Du of all people?" "I have a sense of humor, sweet Eri. I just don't use it often." Soon the winter receded, and so did Du. He still tastes from Eri sometimes, watching new films through her eyes. Occasionally, he even agrees with her critiques. The meaning of human shifts like sand, but remains at bottom the same desert. They continue to invent new marvels. They punish and pleasure themselves in new ways. The opened body of the world continues fruiting. In Berlin, he found Felix, a feast of a man. Du took reliable work as a tour guide and translator. Sex work made for quick cash, but it presented dangers, not the least of which was the danger of being detected as something other than human. Some differences are difficult to hide during intimate contact. Felix, however, wanted everything. He reminded Du a bit of Vikram, that curiosity and openness to all things. But while Vikram welcomed every simple pleasure, Felix hunted the exquisite. Du rented a little room and invested in leather. He discovered Felix through Christoph, a host he encountered on his first night in Berlin. Christoph's eagerness made him easy to inhabit. Later that week, as he tasted the world through the newest host, Du experienced Felix for the first time. Du could feel Christoph's immediate love for Felix. The shell of tattoos, the plug-stretched earlobes and nostrils, the solidness of his body against Christoph's, the full weight and heat of Felix's guts wrapped around him. Du hadn't tasted this sort of lust for experience in years. He felt properly confused for the first time in ages. No, not just confused, alive. Felix lived as though his body were pure silver to be heated and beaten into dazzling new forms. Du had to inhabit him. Du took a few weeks to acclimate to Berlin and its promises. He channeled several old hosts just to pass the time. Rachel lay in hospice in Fort Lauderdale, her mind miserably intact as her body failed, wondering what came next. She didn't even think of Du, not while he tuned in to her at least. He wished her an easy transference. Every host dies. The process ceased to intrigue him 1,000 years ago. Vikram raised his children with his wife in Varanasi and dreamed of cars and men. His life tasted of numbness and regrets, unremarkable. Du felt a brief nostalgia for Melanie, who'd moved to San Francisco to live in an artist commune during that curious revolution. Melanie and her friends took their drugs, doused themselves in glitter, and staged extravagant dream shows night after night. Many of that house died of the recent plague, Melanie among them. Du felt her go. It took days. Felix dressed like a motorcyclist, but owned no vehicle. Du would later read in his thoughts an embarrassment over having so little body hair to display. Felix wondered about a future in which body hair would be implanted. In the sticky, thud, thud, thudding music of the sex club, De articulated a body language of simultaneous invitation and command. He passed well enough for a native. He found Felix already on his knees, ready. The walls themselves sweated and gathered the molecules of musk and nitrates. De took Felix by the chin and led him into the dark room. I think I'll stop there.
I completely forgot I was muted for a minute. Sorry, that was fantastic.
Oh, thank
I
you.
was so into it, and then I came up on the screen. I was like, "What? I'm not supposed to be here." I was enjoying the story. It was so much fun. Do you want to plug anything while you've got the?
I should definitely again plug Posthuman, which is available on everywhere. It's available on Steam, Android. Choice of Games has an app on the Apple Store, which needs to be downloaded for free before you get the game itself. And then a lot of people play directly through Choice of Games website. And I'm starting the sequel to Better Living Through Alchemy. So if you want to read that, but you want to read this first, go get it.
Well, I think we all will be going getting it if it was anything like the reading you just did. That was incredible.
It's like a lot of things. Thank you. Yeah, that story, Traces of Indigo, has never been picked up. And I know why. The ending just was always flat. And I had given myself permission to do that, to have a story that just stops rather than ends. Because by God, if Caitlin R. Kiernan can do that, so can I. But I can't. So I had to come up with an actual satisfactory ending.
I hate it when that happens. Well, hopefully it will be picked up soon.
I would hope.
We can all reread it because that was incredible.
Thank you.
I was so into it. I was so annoyed when I came up. I was like, ah.
And we're only halfway through. So he has a lot more to taste before the end of that story.
All I'm going to say is expect an email being like, "Hello."
Oh yeah, I'll send it to you.
Sorry.
I mean, if someone wants to have me on and I would read the whole thing, it's probably about 20 minutes of screen time. But tra-la-la.
Well, someone better, because I want to hear it all.
I want to say it all.
Good. Maybe you could do another video when we're in your dryer or washing machine or whatever it was.
Yeah, I wanted to show off my carnivorous plants collection today.
Yes.
But
I'm glad they haven't eaten you.
Me too.
It's always a worry.
I've been training them to only eat other authors.
Oh, good. I was worried for a second you were going to say spiders, and I was like, no.
No, the spiders are my friends.
Yeah, the authors, however.
This is why Saffron can't reach some of them. They've been eaten.
Oh.
Like,
now it all makes sense.
Gingerbread house.
I didn't realize that she had a mafia behind her.
Wouldn't you?
Unfortunately, no. My mafia left me after the incident. But,
Yeah.
It is what it is. Maybe I'll recruit you.
You know, I just finished my latest manuscript, so I have some free time.
Great. We'll be in contact.
Good.
Thank you again so much for reading. That was absolutely incredible.
You're very welcome. Thanks for having me on. The safe word is Xanadu.
Okay. Xanadu. Okay. So we're going to move on to our next author now, who is panicking in the chat, and that's Tim McKay. We're going to do jazz hands while we do this. Yeah, so Tim McKay is...
Sorry. This is American Sign Language.
I know a bit of BSL, but it's different and not different at the same time. So, of course, yeah, American Sign Language. So dumb. I'm so British. I'm sorry. It's disgusting even to me.
That was meta British.
That's too British.
Okay. Someone
Okay.
take me off the screen because I'll just keep talking as long as I see my beautiful face.
I don't know. I'm not in charge. Okay, there we go. So, Tim McKay is a fantasy author, freelance editor, part time writing professor, and paid story judge. When he's not weaving dark tales of purpose and play, he can most readily be found provoking that unsavory fiend known as Steve over on Twitter or X.
Okay, I am still laughing from Evan's amazing performance and all of that after. So, wow, I'm going to be thinking about carnivorous plants the entire time I read this. Thank you for that. Hopefully that doesn't. Yeah, prepare yourselves because I tend to write a little darker. So I'm going to be reading about half the prologue from my upcoming sequel. So for all you prologue haters out there, I apologize in advance. I am now force feeding you something you did not realize you signed up for. And I'm also introducing, I think, my favorite character that I've written so far. So this is just a taste. Ends up being prevalent in the story, and I hope you enjoy what you see. And this book, I'm a chapter away from being done writing it, and I'm very hopeful for a late summer, early fall release. We'll see though, because we'll see how editing goes. It could take a little longer, but it's coming soon. So, anyways, here is the prologue for The Light of Mazara. All right. Prologue: The Vistandel Siege. To imagine, to dream, is to trust, to hope, to believe beyond doubt in Fortuna's favor. But not all hearts beat the same, nor all minds play to the same ends. Be careful what end you seek, my son. Such is the way of evil, that he who seeks shall find, and he who knows shall fall. Dream at thy peril, for nightmares lie on the edge of hope. Josara of the Penitorum. Tambrin ap Cunvar drank in the chaos of battle with a smile. He'd sensed the siege coming for weeks, and it was all he had hoped for. A musket ball skipped off the stone wall behind him, and he stifled a laugh. His luck never seemed to run out. He stepped closer to the forward parapets to test what he already knew. Sure enough, a fiery projectile slammed down where he'd been, and cannon fire blasted the king's guards to his right. Stone shrapnel from the exploding wall passing through the space behind him. He was untouchable, and always had been. Luck of the gods, luck of the damned, or luck of the bold. It was all the same to him, though he'd always considered himself walking proof of the divine. Dark jester of the gods, a cruel joke played on the feeble nation to which he was born. Few disagreed. The only matter for debate: what manner of god would bless a soul such as his? Darumai's gods were fickle, unknowable, or so said the nation's reclusive priests. Father Josara, though mentor to Tambrin's late father, and the poor sod burdened with Tambrin's care once his mother passed away too, had long warned him against relying too heavily on his ceaseless good fortune. It troubled Josara to no end that Tambrin's misdeeds and careless nature had no bearing on the divine spark, an affront to the vaunted morals of the Daruman Penitorum, a priesthood of stale fools. It made no difference to Tambrin. If anything, he took pride in the priest's displeasure. Josara and his like were too accustomed to this dismal place, their faith as bleak and lifeless as Darumai's barren mountains. And unlike the mountains, no treasure lay hidden within. The Penitorum taught its people to toil, to repent, to wail and weep before the gods, their flagellation and sacrifice only ever rewarded with silence. Not so with Tambrin. He gave nothing and received all in return. What a glorious day, he said to no one in particular. Gorkal, the annoyingly timid soldier to his left, gave him a disapproving glare before looking back over the attacking horde. The small-minded grunt had been a thorn in his side from their first day together in the Daraman army. Borkal was a by-the-book sort, destined to manage the affairs of his betters, but he was a half-decent soldier, which was why Tambrin considered him a rival from the start, a rivalry Borkal mistook for friendly competition. That was until Tambrin turned their whole unit against him with some well-placed rumors. He didn't hate the man, really. Some people just needed a good thrashing to keep their egos in check. Considering Borkal's skittish manner, even once the rumors passed, it had been a thrashing well served. Another blast shook the ramparts. Borkal stumbled forward and caught himself on the parapets, which gave Tambrin an idea. He waited for a squad of musketeers to scramble past, then casually stepped over to Borkal's side and gave him a hard push. The soldier was over the wall and falling before he could scream, and the fool never got the chance. A wave of shadow and fire slammed into the walls below, shaking the ramparts and barring the Daraman's view of the enemy with a cloud of black smoke. He had to stifle another laugh. Some of that smoke belonged to Borkal's corpse, with the smell of pig roast left too long on the spit. What a day indeed. Tambrin, what in the blazes are you doing out here? Sheth. Only his sister could ruin such a moment. You didn't notice the attack? Asked Tambrin. That thing out there's an army, you see. Yep, there. No, wait for it. There goes the smoke. And yes, right there. And those loud things smashing our walls to bits, those would be cannons, dear sister. Shut it, Tam, said Zimbra. You're supposed to be helping me with the bandages. His sister, the apothecary. He thought he'd be sick if he had to smell her salves a second longer. Why mend wounds when I can make them, right, sis? This sword isn't just for show, you know. Now. Sheth. There'd be no talking her out of it. She was one of the few who could resist his charms, one of life's great mysteries, bright as a wet candle, but he'd never known someone so unmovable once her mind was set. He followed her over the ramparts and through a wide arch into the castle. Shadows danced overhead as soldiers ran past the torches, and dust fell from above as the enemy bombardment continued. He was sorry to miss it, especially after those shadows and flames, whatever they were. He'd heard of dark magic in hidden corners of the Empire, but he'd never imagined anything so real or so powerful. He'd like to see those Vaikari snobs try facing that. His hand brushed over the golden hilt at his side as the scabbard clipped a passing servant. The Daraman longsword was a daily reminder of what those backstabbing fiends had done to him. It was the prince's fault, really, but he'd be happy to see them all taken down a peg. Will you get it together? Said Zimbra. I'll club you like a Hessin if I've lost a patient while searching for your sorry hide. Hurry up! At least Borkal's gone, he thought. He had to celebrate the small wins with Zimbra around. He could always count on her to look after him and drive him up a wall in equal measure. She'd always been Josara's favorite, though she had not a religious bone in her body, and she'd saved Tambrin from many a scolding while taking it upon herself to swat him over the head at every chance, as stubborn and chaotic a soul as his own, which was why he put up with her. Their like had to stick together. The arched tunnel opened to a balcony overlooking the central courtyard. Amidst the chaos below, Tambrin spotted the Vaikari warriors with their longswords drawn, braced for a battle they'd surely lose. It made Tambrin giddy. He'd been accepted into their ranks and quickly proved himself the best among them, never losing a duel even before they trained him. So much for their vaunted skills. Legend had it the Vaikari were second to none on the continent, their swordsmanship turning many a tide in battles atop Darumai's thick black keeps and castles. Curious as was his nature, he joined to unravel their secrets, only to find they had nothing to teach. Outmoded stratagems meant for an age long past, before the dawn of new weaponry now borne by their enemies. Then the prince had him tossed out and forced back into the army. Something about the virtues befitting a Vaikari, whatever that meant. Jealousy was what it was, plain and simple. So, yes, He'd relish watching them test their swords against musket fire. After centuries of celebrated prowess on the battlefield, they were finally outmatched. What a glorious new age this was turning out to be. Zimbra clapped him over the back of the head. Sheth, do you mind? She kept walking without a word, and he followed with one hand rubbing through his dark curls. He'd have to settle for imagining the Vaikari defeat from afar. With any luck, he'd get to treat the wounded. And this was exactly why he always snuck a bottle or two of poison from Zimbra's reserves. You never knew what opportunities life would throw your way, but Tambrin liked to be prepared. There we go. I'll leave it at that. That's about half of the prologue for all of you.
That was so much fun.
Hopefully you heard it all.
Yeah, it sounded like
I'm
you
coming through clear, yeah.
must have been having fun while you were writing it as well.
It's a lot of fun to write. Yeah. Yeah, it's you probably get a taste from that. It's action packed more so than maybe, my other. I mean, Skyfold, very action heavy, but a little more character driven. And then if you've read The Father of Shadow and Death, far less action. So this is very much a sequel to The Fall of Sylvandria. I like dark action packed for these books in particular. Yeah.
And you've almost finished writing this one, haven't you?
One chapter left.
One
Yeah.
chapter
So,
left. Are we allowed to know its name?
sorry?
Can we know its name, or is that secret?
The name of the chapter?
The name of the book.
Oh, the book. The book is the Light of Mazara.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
I'm
yeah.
guessing that there's going to be an audiobook as well, because
Yes.
you
Yeah.
do
So
audiobooks so well.
if you liked what you heard there, it's pretty much what I do, just edited. So, a lot of the stutters and clicks and all that jazz is edited out. But yeah, I do my own audio, love doing it. So
And
hopefully
I
they're
think
getting better.
I think that comes across in your audiobooks as well. You can
Mm,
always tell if a narrator's having fun with it, and I think
yeah.
this is why author ones are the best ones, because they genuinely love the story and it comes through.
Yeah. Like I treat mine, I'll say this. So I don't do character voices. Like what you heard here, I maybe add a little more character variation, but not by much. So it's not I want to keep taking courses and maybe get some lessons and keep improving each time. But yeah, like it's not a professional narrator. I treat it as an author reading, like this, really, But that makes it fun too, because you're hearing it as it was meant to be heard, or at least how I imagined it coming out. So yeah, it's fun. I do like professionally narrated audio too, but yeah, there's something special about an author reading. So
Yeah. Yeah. I really enjoyed it. Thank you so much, Tim.
you're very welcome. This was a blast. Thanks for having us.
Should I introduce the next author then? Yeah, great. So our next author is Cassidy Corsi. And Cassidy Corsi has lived with fantastical stories in her imagination for as long as she can remember. Her dark fantasy books speak to her greatest loves, redeemable anti-heroes, sweeping character arcs, and unbridled love that crushes souls, but deliciously. She otherwise thrives on terrible jokes, harmless pranks, caramel macchiatos, and being right. So welcome to Cassidy Corsi.
Oh, hi, it's me. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. And I want to thank Safi and Sarah for this opportunity. And also, Sarah, I love that you say caramel. That's just something that my American ears like. It just sounds so much better that way. I came out with a debut novel in September 2025, and that's what I'll be reading from today. It is up for Best Debut for the Indieverse Awards, along with another one of our authors who is going to be reading here, Ellen Holmes, so stick around for her too. It also got nominated for Wittiest Banter and Biggest Baddest Villain, which is a combination I am deliriously proud of. So we're going to start at the beginning, which is a very good place to start. Of Fallen's First, Chapter 1. Lips on his eyelids. The first touch Ser ever experienced. A delicate and heartbreaking kiss. Ser blinked open his new eyes and beheld his maker. Lucifer's irises, so light a blue they were almost white, stilled his shuddering inhale. A gemstone came to mind, something Ser had never seen but knew, like it had been etched into his bones. Drained sapphires. That's what Lucifer's eyes resembled. Maker. Creator. Lucifer smiled, and the expression stuck Ser between his ribs. He had ribs, and Lucifer somehow hurt the spaces between them with the curve of its lips. Bewitching and wicked, dazzling and tragic, too many emotions overwhelmed his freshly born body. Pearlescent feathered wings framed his maker's radiance tucked into Lucifer's back. Curls of gold brushed its forehead, cascading upon pristine bare shoulders. Ser yearned to touch the silken tresses. At the same time, he wondered why. Lucifer spoke in a voice as agonizing and lovely as its face. Ser Kanum Sherenikakor. The jolt of Ser's true name sang through him, compelling and powerful. His knees shook. Lucifer's voice dipped. My Ser Kanum. This version of his name resonated as well, spoken with something like familiarity and affection, though it didn't carry the same weight as his true name. Welcome, my first Daimwenik. With its pale hand, the fallen angel made an elegant gesture to the surroundings. Daimwenik, angel, fallen, these concepts filtered in. Ser didn't question their accuracy, they simply were. It took all of Ser's willpower to tear his gaze from his maker. A monstrous cavern surrounded the pair. Lines of molten red snaked through the stone, illuminating where blazes of hell's fire couldn't. Magma. Another word he'd not been taught, yet it came to him. Ser's nostrils flared to the scent of smoke, fire, and a tinge of lava mixed with old blood, burnt feathers, and flesh. Patches of hell's fire licked at the ground, and as Ser traced the flame's path to his own body, they reflected off his silver feet. No, not feet. Hooves. His maker had feet, but Ser had glinting silver hooves. Brown knitting, Ser raised his hands into view. His chiseled forearms were coated with leathery flesh, black as charcoal. Silver claws tipped his onyx fingers, vicious and threatening. Nothing like Lucifer's hand. Weapon. The word leapt into his mind, and Ser knew he was powerful and important. He knew his purpose. Lucifer's elegant fingers traced along the side of its creation's jawline, drawing Ser's attention back. My first, my son, my servant, I've created you, and so you belong to me wholly and completely. The fallen angel's finger drifted outward, touching the tip of a curved silver horn. Ser's horn. He had horns instead of lustrous curls. You are bound to protect me, O baby, and put no others before me. If you are honored to be mine, and so understand and swear to follow these conditions, tell me as much. Protect, obey, honor. Ser grasped the words with certainty, their weight settling on him with their undeniable importance and finality. The impulse to dedicate himself to someone or something had been forged deep in his sinew and bones, and now he teetered on the precipice of a monumental choice. If he declined, he knew it would be the last thing he ever did. Yet something in Ser's core hesitated. He was powerful, important. And with that realization came the innate knowing of what Lucifer had commanded and utilized to craft him. Pride. He was pride. Why should he follow a fallen angel, even the one who'd made him? Why make an oath to his maker when that maker created him to be more than it, better than it? The pause stretched, and Ser stared long enough that a glint of furious trepidation slid into Lucifer's eyes. If he were unmade, Ser realized, he'd lose every opportunity to rise. The fallen angel drew a breath to speak further, but Ser knelt on his thick, able-bodied shanks and bowed his head. Muscles in his back contracted, and he realized he'd drawn wings close to his body. They brushed his ribs. Not feathered, as Lucifer's, but membranous. Serve. He uttered his first words, and the depth of his voice rumbled deeper than Lucifer's, echoing the roar of the fires of hell. Yes, master. Something at his center, deep in Ser's consciousness, a brilliant flash of gold sparked, then faded, an acknowledgement of his oath, a finality granted. Good, my Ser Khanum. The approval wrapped around him, comforting and thick with affection, yet somehow lined with razor blades. While I finish my army, you'll build a dais for a throne there. Lucifer pointed, and Ser followed its gesture to a space across the cavern. The rocky floor needed evening out and polishing. Loose stones lay scattered about, but they wouldn't be enough to build a structure befitting the ruler of this realm. He'd have to carve more out of the walls. Ser's analysis halted mid-thought as the fallen angel moved away, revealing a part of the cavern its frame had previously blocked. Diagonal from them, the next of Lucifer's creations came into view. 6 other Daimwenica in various stages of completion perched in suspended dormancy, all winged and horned of various shapes and sizes, but Ser's gaze snagged on the one nearest them. She, for the unmoving, voluptuous form could be nothing but a she, held her head bent, kneeling. The demoness's substantial silver horns swept up and back from her forehead, curling sinuously and tapering to dangerous, delicious points at the end of their impressive length. Rather than claws, she possessed gleaming silver nails upon each obsidian fingertip. Her eyes lay shut, still as a statue. The moment he beheld her, Ser's insides tugged in her direction, though no vitality breathed through the demoness. She called to a deep yearning inside him without uttering a word. Lucifer intruded into Ser's line of sight, its lips pulled back and revealing rows of razor-sharp teeth. I gave you an order, my Ser Khanum. Ser bit back the insane urge to argue. His maker's unspoken threat shivered through him, icicles in his blood. Yes, master. He moved to the opposite end of the chamber to gather boulders and glanced over mid-task. Leaning over the demoness, Lucifer brushed its hands under her fine cheekbones. The fallen angel breathed over her eyelids before kissing them, one after the other. With those kisses, a brilliant, glowing energy passed from his maker's lips, absorbing into the female figure. She inhaled. Neyuukan Igral, my Neyuukan, welcome. Her name caressed Ser's insides like silk. And I will stop there for now. Thank you, thank you.
Wow, that was incredible.
Thanks.
You said you were nervous. That was just...
I always get nervous, but and then when I go, it goes away. So
It's so good. It was so good. I didn't tell you this before, but I did pick up Fallen's first, like the other day, and I was like, no, I'll save it because I've got arcs to read, and now I'm like, maybe the arcs can wait a little bit longer.
Oh, thank you. That means a lot. Thank you so much.
And I love that you've represented with the headphones there.
Yes, yeah. These are separate from my headphones. These are like I have too many horns to speak of, Sarah. Like I bought way too many horns, but these are my little nubbins. These representative of my sloth baby. Her name's
Well, if you've got a brand, you have to carry on with the brand, don't you? You have to represent.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I wear
Oh, that was so much fun. I cannot wait to read your book. I was actually kind of like, this is getting a little bit steamy at some point. Do I have to come in and like be like, excuse me?
Yeah.
This is, I mean, it's past watershed nearly for me. So I don't know if that's a thing in the US. But I'm not quite post watershed yet.
I understand. No, and actually, even though it's demons, it's Lucifer, it's got, this dark fantasy piece to it, but also in one of the demoness is lust, right? But it's not as steamy as people anticipate it to be. There is an open door scene, but I would call it like 2 to 3 chili peppers out of 5, actually. So people, I think, are anticipating, oh, this is gonna be so smutty, but it's more story driven rather than smut driven.
Well, you've got to have a good balance, don't you?
That's right.
Got to have a
Absolutely.
good
I
balance.
love plot driven smut. That's my favorite.
Yeah, that's the best way.
That's right. That's right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you again so much for reading.
Yeah, thank you so much. Oh, and I wanted to say, I'm currently accepting listener inquiries for advanced listener copies of the audiobook. It's coming out in May, and that's on NetGalley. It's narrated by Sammy Rowe, and she has a voice like browned butter. She's amazing.
Okay, well, you can sign me up for that.
There you go.
I'm ending this stream right now to get onto NetGalley.
Oh no, we need
Everyone
to
else
see
is like, no.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you,
That
Safi.
that was fantastic. Thank you so much. I'm going to introduce the next reader now. So our next reader is Ellen Holmes, who is the author of Space Collisions, a micro chapbook first published by Ghost City Press, and The Floating Castle. Her fiction, poetry, and creative non-fiction have appeared in literary journals and magazines such as Newfound, Barron Magazine, Crack the Spine, Vestal Review, and Friction, amongst others. She is also the founder of the Small Spec Book Awards.
This is Ellen Holmes, and I'll be reading an excerpt from The Floating Castle, my debut novel. Part 1, Chapter 1. Elias of House Zardisval, Prince of Walchester, drew his yew longbow and aimed at a hart. 20 yards separated him and the cluster of red deer. He could tell they sensed him. It was only a matter of time before the wind shifted and carried his scent to the herd. The 2 trees on either side of the hart acted as a natural sight, guiding his shot. He let the arrow fly. It penetrated the deer, broadside, right behind the foreleg. The hart kicked, alarming his harem, and the herd raced deeper into the forest. "A kill shot," said his father, Norman of House Zardisval, King of Glydan. His father pushed off the tree he'd been leaning against and dusted off his brown hunting tunic and trousers. "Congratulations." Elias ignored the dispassion in the king's voice and tied his bow to his horse's saddle. He stared at his father over the mare's back. The king arched an eyebrow, his blond hair so light it almost blended into his face. Elias and his sister Cecilia had gotten their mother's traits: hair the black of volcanic glass, eyes the hue of cornflower, skin like aged ivory. Only his half-brother Wallen looked anything like his father, flaxen-haired, muddy-eyed, skin an almost sickly pallor. Elias mounted the dapple-gray palfrey. The mare trotted forward after a swift kick to the side. Signaling their guards to continue following at a distance, his father trailed behind on his tiger-eyed stallion. The hart's blood trail was easy enough to follow, and after several minutes they found the bleeding deer, lying dead on the forest floor. Elias dismounted from his horse and retrieved his field-dressing kit from his saddlebags. He repositioned the hart so that he could best access its soft abdomen. "A royal stag," his father said, joining him at the deer's side. "It is a shame you could not find a monarch." Typical, Elias thought. His father brought him out here without men or dogs and expected him to find the largest stag in the forest. Elias sharpened his hunting knife on a whetstone. The weapon felt good in his hands, like a natural extension of his arm. Once satisfied with its sharpness, he slit the deer down the middle and began to extract the internal organs. The blood and entrails steamed in the chilly autumn air. Elias made quick work of the hart's insides, removing everything with one strong pull of the windpipe. He left the pile of gore on the forest floor, an offering for the antlered lion, color of herds and guardian of the elderwood. His father helped him sling the carcass over his horse and secure it. Using his leather canteen, Elias rinsed his bloody hands and then passed the canteen to his father, who did the same. "When will you tell me what we came here to talk about?" The king smirked. Blood and water dripped from his fingers. Elias suppressed a shudder, forcing down memories of a dark closet. He had to remind himself that they were outside with guards watching his father's every move. Besides, it wasn't the first time the king had done this, bringing him out to the forest to hunt alone. As a prince, Elias didn't enjoy being so exposed to attack, especially with bandits and wild beasts lurking in the forest. Usually they'd hunt with experts, all on horseback, along with a pack of trained dogs. Only a few times had the king taken him out alone, the royal guards hanging back far enough in the trees to be nearly invisible. Each time his father did this, there had been something awful happening. A temporary retreat from Dyrland, a devastating defeat during the invasion of Nades, the arrival of his abhorrent half-brother at the castle. The king didn't isolate him in the forest because he sought his son's counsel in these moments. Elias suspected his father did this to avoid any embarrassing reactions in front of the courtiers. Messengers returned from Toguan this morning, the king said. He handed the canteen back. Have we found an effective route for our soldiers? Elias returned all of his gear to the saddlebags. The king studied him. Our men have not been home a month from Dyrland, and you are already eager to deploy them to the Empire? I simply asked if they found a route through Needlepoint Pass. No. Though he felt the anger bubbling in his throat, Elias kept his voice calm. Then what did the messengers have to say? The Emperor is at last honoring your betrothal, the king said. You mean I am to marry? Elias asked. He'd been betrothed at the age of 8 to a princess of Toguan, as an act to stave off war. While the betrothal had never been officially dissolved, years went by without their union coming to fruition. Now, at age 25, Elias had grown accustomed to his freedom, and imagined the betrothal a formality that would be discarded when his father declared war. The king gestured at the horses. The meat will spoil if we linger. The heart could be left for the bears and the wolves for all Elias cared. I thought the betrothal was a bluff. When the king stared at him inquisitively, Elias tried again. You do not truly mean to honor the marriage, do you? I thought we intended to go to war. You continue to say we, as if you are somehow helping our conquests, his father retorted. You do not fight, like our soldiers, although you clearly have the ability. When you attend the War Council, you simply advocate for more invasions, regardless of the exorbitant human and financial cost. You are content to leave Walchester in the hands of a proxy, despite the city's propinquity to the Empire, and now the servants inform me. Elias chanced to glance at his father and wished he hadn't. The king seemed ready to murder him. That you are shirking your responsibilities at the military academy, sending Ava, of all people, to complete the task. Elias made a mental note to ferret out who betrayed that information to the king. A few beatings might make them pause the next time they gossiped about him to his father. He moved to an elder tree and plucked one of the ripe berries. He squished the fruit, its juice like blood on his fingertips. Maybe I would be more willing to participate in the war effort if we were actually winning the nations we sought to acquire. He knew he went too far when his father thundered, Maybe you should go to the front, so you can conquer them all yourself. Elias sneered despite the danger. You seek an empire, not a kingdom, and yet most of your conquering involves subduing rebellions in Dyrland. The Nades have successfully opposed your attacks for years, and Parsif placates you with their slaves. If you cannot subjugate the 3 island kingdoms, how will you fare with the wealthier and more populous democratic nations? How will you overcome Toguan, the most powerful empire in the world? His father stilled. You think throwing more soldiers at these issues will solve everything? That if we increase our numbers, we can overcome all of them? And as more of our soldiers die due to your recklessness, how will we resupply? Maybe we should arm our children with sickles and shears and send them to the front as well. Elias felt like pushing his luck. Is that not what you're trying to do with me? The king snorted. You are hardly a child. I am your child. Why must I soil my hands when there are people obligated to do it for me? His father quickly closed the distance between them and struck. The slap took Elias off guard. The king hit him so brutally he dropped to the earth, hands smarting from the effort to break his fall. He inspected his palms and hissed at the blood and debris marring his skin. Moisture from the muddy ground seeped into his hunting trousers. Monarchs have been dethroned and beheaded for such careless words, the king said, his voice low. He glanced toward the guards, who'd started to approach and then thought better of it. Everyone is expendable, even you. If you expect to be king one day, you must be smarter about your relationships with people. Elias bared his teeth at the decaying leaves on the forest floor. He didn't dare turn his expression toward his father, who continued to hover over him, though he longed to. You will honor the betrothal, the king continued, and you will help Ava assess the students at the academy. When his father finally stepped back, Elias stood up. The king didn't offer to help him. The guards ignored them again and watched the trees. Letting women join the armed forces simply because Ava wants it is a mistake, Elias said. The Marchioness is a brilliant strategist and has saved countless soldiers from peril, some of them personally. Her men are effective, resilient, and more loyal to her than they are to me. Not to mention Deeds flourishes under her leadership. She is infinitely more valuable than you. The king mounted his stallion. The roan horse glared at Elias as if challenging him. Learn something from her, and maybe I will start listening to your suggestions at the war council. Elias stalked toward his mare. The horse emitted a nervous whicker at his approach. He didn't intend to learn anything from the Marchioness, as if he were some babe clutching at his mother's skirts. He slit the ropes holding the deer carcass and let it fall to the ground. If his father said anything in response, Elias didn't hear him. He mounted and took off, not bothering to ascertain if the king followed. The horse galloped past the guards, too swift for them to catch up. Pain shot through his palms as he gripped the reins. His cheek throbbed with the mare's jouncing stride. He would be furious if there was a bruise. His father chased him down. His stallion's nostrils flared as he matched the mare's stride. You will injure your horse. Elias ignored him. A thick grove of trees caused them to split. Elias weaved through the trunks, not daring to glance at the king. Stop, Elias, his father shouted, but the wind smothered his voice. They rushed into a clearing. Elias slowed. Bones and an eviscerated wolf carcass lay scattered on the grass. The smell hit him next, the sweet reek of death. The king rushed in front of Elias, cutting him off. The mare reared, throwing him. Elias cursed as he fell. He crashed into a deer skeleton, the pile of bones rattling with the impact. The pain knocked the wind out of him. His mare bolted into the woods. The king circled around him and dismounted. He inspected his son and helped him to his feet. You could have died, his father chided. Had you not darted in front of me, I would have been perfectly fine, Elias snapped. He sucked in a breath. His ribs were bruised. Blood dripped down his arms from several shallow cuts. I am a mess, thanks to you. No comeback came. He noted the distress in his father's expression. Reconciliation was the farthest thing from Elias's mind. He pointed to the bones, all of which were animal skeletons. What manner of creature did this? For a moment his father's gaze refused to leave him, likely fearing Elias would bolt again. When the king finally glanced around the clearing, a wary expression crossed his face. I doubt a wolf or bear. Maybe this is the lion's territory? We should leave. For once, Elias agreed. With his mare gone, he had to share the stallion with his father. The guards caught up and fussed over Elias, but stopped when he demanded they take him home. He noticed the dead heart strapped to one of their horses. As they left, the king didn't spare him any pain, urging the stallion into a trot. Elias bounced with the horse, every impact agony. This wasn't the end of their fight. He wouldn't marry the princess. He'd find a way out of it. But Elias couldn't disobey too publicly, at least not for now. His father could imprison him for his impudence, or worse. Still, there was one truth that emerged during their verbal sparring match, a promise that Elias held onto like a dagger. One day, he would be king. Thank you.
I'm back. And you know who else is here, which is really exciting because I didn't think she was going to be here today. But Ellen Holmes is actually here. So I'm hoping she will just appear somewhere. There she is. Thank you for being here.
Oh, yeah. Are you kidding?
It was a
Yeah.
surprise when you jumped in earlier. I was like, oh my God, she's here.
Yeah, I was way too excited about this event to miss it.
Well, that was a fantastic reading.
Thank you.
You're on a little bit of a tour at the minute, aren't you? You're doing a lot of book conventions and stuff. Are you reading at those as well?
Oh no. Oh my gosh, no. Hopefully not. At least it would be a surprise if I was. No, I'm doing a lot of like festivals and book cons and just talking directly to readers, so that should be fun. I actually got accepted last minute to the Grove City Book Festival, which is in Columbus, Ohio. So I'm really excited about it. I'm going to be in a brewery, the Grove City Brewery. So it's going to be really neat. And then I've got a lot of other things going on this year.
Oh, that's so exciting. I wish I could come to all these shows. I see you posting and I'm like, I want to go.
Oh man, we would have so much fun together.
We would have so much fun. At some point, we will have to do a cross country
Yeah.
thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
That would be a really fun YouTube channel. It's just us doing a road trip, I reckon.
Oh my gosh. It would be so awesome and unhinged, and it would be lovely.
So that was from the Floating Castle.
Yeah.
And you're writing another one, aren't you?
Yep.
Am I allowed to
Pirate
talk about
Queens.
it?
Yep, it's more than halfway finished, and I ambitiously am hoping to finish the first draft by the end of May. I probably shouldn't say that live, but that's the goal.
Next question. Can I read it?
Of course. Of course. Yeah.
This show is literally just me just trying to like read people's books and be like, I want to be everyone's beta reader. I want to be everyone's ARC reader, everyone's audiobook listener, apparently.
I have to say, Sarah, you've been one of the biggest supporters and the kindest reader, and it just means a lot to me, because this is my debut novel, and I was pretty nervous about putting it out there, but I have to say, this love goes both ways, because I've read your books too, and they are phenomenal, and I'm so
They're
excited.
not as good as the Floating Castle.
Do what?
They're not as good as the Floating Castle.
Oh my gosh. That's not true, everyone, just so you're aware. Those books are amazing. You should read them. Yeah, and she's got a new one coming out soon, Cat Food, by the way.
Yes, it's there in my background that I forgot to do before I did. But this isn't about me. This is about you. So where can we get the Floating Castle?
I'm so glad you asked. Independent Bookstore Day is coming up, and my book is in 6 independent bookstores, and I hope that you will check them out. So it's the Cozy Book Nook, the Crafty Bookstore, Snapdragon Books and Gifts, the Floating Bookshop, Amethyst and Ink Books, and what was the other one? Oh, the Bookworm in Omaha. So I always have to remember all 6.
So many.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Well, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. It's been amazing.
I'm going to introduce the next author now.
All right.
We're going through these very quickly, and it's very upsetting for me because I'm enjoying them all so much. And the next author is also fantastic as well. I'm small, that's okay. So, psychotherapist by day and writer by night, award-winning author Hannah R. Goodman prefers tea over coffee, cats over dogs, and staying in over going out. Her newest YA novel, High School Epic, captures the chaos of teenage life in the early 1990s with raw honesty, humor, and heart. Her other recent book, new adult romance I Love That Girl, has been praised as simultaneously joyous, sexy, and uncertain. She currently writes about writing, publishing, and mental health on her Substack called Writing My Way Through It.
Hi, I'm Hannah Goodman, and I will be reading a portion of Chapter 4 of my newest book, High School Epic. The segment of this chapter starts right after the main character, Danny, and her love interest, Kevin, have just had detention together, and they discover through conversation, well, Danny discovers through their conversation that he's not some new boy to school like she thought, that they actually had known each other before. "What's with you knowing I know shit about you?" he asked. I had never felt this cool flirting. I liked the feeling. "This is a small school," I said. "It's a small town, so small you'd think people would remember you if you lived here before, if you went to school with them, had the same 4th grade teacher, sat in the same reading group." He stopped and gave me a lopsided smile before continuing. "You gave me half of your piece of pizza at field day because I got outside late." That's when it all came to me. Jeffrey Martin? Kevin Martin the third, even though I don't know who the fuck the first or second Jeffrey Martin is. You sat behind me in Miss Walsh's class and had these classes, and you were really quiet. Yep, and the only moments I enjoyed were when your ponytail would accidentally hit my face when you leaned back to raise your hand to answer a question, which was like every 5 minutes. I laughed. We started walking again, and we made our way down the pathway to the parking lot in front of the school. Our campus was on a hill, so I looked across the parking lot. I could see clearly across the valley that divided Aquidneck Island in half. The sun was brilliant around us, and the smell of cut grass was perfect. You used some kind of strawberry shampoo. He somehow produced a baseball hat, like how he had produced a copy of To Kill a Mockingbird in detention. He stopped and put my bag and the board down to adjust the hat. Want me to carry it? Nope. He threw it over his shoulder again and grabbed the board. We continued across the lot, which was almost empty, and then strolled to the curb at the top of the hill that sloped down into the front field used for football practice. A few football players ran back and forth across the field. And you always let me borrow a pencil because I never seemed to have any in my desk, even though I always brought some in from home, I said, the memory returning as I spoke it. That's because I stole them. He glanced at me and flashed a smile. The ones I gave you were actually yours. I laughed. This seemed like a sweet revelation, like when you were in kindergarten and a boy pulled your ponytail, except now that I'm older, that seems kind of messed up. But back then, it was like a sign he liked you. He just didn't know how to say it. More players were on the field now, and a very far away thought swam up to the front of my mind. One of the Jasons played football. This made me think of Tiff and Chris again. But I pushed the thought away because I was with Kevin, hot cookie boy Kevin. They would totally understand. For some reason, the smallest details of this moment became so important as we continued to walk. The sounds of the football players yelling and a whistle blowing, the intense smell of earth and grass, the cool air laced with warmth from the sunshine. My body buzzed with electricity. Kevin walked next to me, his board touching the ground with a scraping sound every few seconds. He told me he moved back in with his grandparents after living with his mom in Newport for the last 4 years. He liked living with them, but didn't say much about his mom. I told him I live with my mom, but up until 2 years ago, I lived with both of my parents. Then Dad left for work one day, and when I came home, his side of their closet was empty. The only thing he left was his gray cardigan. I gestured to my waist where it was tied around, and some stale cigars in his desk drawer. I didn't tell Kevin about the box or the psychic. Somehow those felt too personal. I told him about my snapping problem, and he told me he was epileptic, but he hadn't had a seizure since 5th grade. I think epileptic beats nervous tics. We turned this part of the conversation into a version of rock, paper, scissors. Well, not if I haven't had a seizure in 5 years, he said. But he bumped into me gently. I think we are even with asshole fathers. We talked music, and once he said he was a fan of The Cure, I knew for sure we were meant to be. My body continued to buzz with all the talking. I felt like it was the end of a night at a sleepover with a bunch of girls where our Ouija board and slam book games had turned into crying sessions about parents and siblings, like an episode of Oprah or something. But you felt so relieved and cleansed, and that's what I felt standing there with Kevin. And everything seemed far away. We reached a point in the walk where we should have parted ways, but the idea of having to part ways with him was scary because I felt like we would have to kiss or at least hug goodbye, and I was terrified to kiss this boy. I worried I would explode or moan or something else embarrassing. It was bad enough that the sappy love songs playing in my head were practically leaking out of my ears at this point. But Kevin offered the perfect out. So since detention was partially my fault, let me take you to go get some ice cream. Despite the trouble I knew I was definitely going to be in with my mom and with Tiff and with Chris, I said yes to walking to Colonial Ice Cream. How could I not? You never had a banana split? I shook my head. I don't get it. Are you worried about getting fat or something? I laughed. No, I always order peppermint stick when we go to Colonial because the creamery and Frosty Freeze don't have the kind with the little pieces of candy. You know what I mean? Mick, my brother, always used to make me order pistachio, and then he'd get peppermint stick, and he would claim we would share, trade after we each ate half. But he was a boy and 5 years older, so he was always wound up eating way more than me. I I realized I was babbling, but it seemed vital for him to know about my obsession with peppermint stick ice cream from Colonial. Kevin's mouth hung open and he put his hands up. Okay, no problem. I get it. It'll be all right, okay? We laughed. We laughed. So how about we put some peppermint stick in the banana split? I made a face. That's okay. It's time to grow up, right? Let's order the banana split. He got very serious about the type of ice cream he felt we should get. Peanut butter, and then we should also get plain chocolate and vanilla. Here you go. A tiny waitress held in her doll-sized hands what looked like a trough of ice cream. She almost toppled over as she set it down. Enjoy! We watched her go, and I felt like my mom had left me alone with a boy in our TV room for the first time. Heart fluttery, stomach nervous. Kevin looked across the table at me. Those blue eyes. Missy was right. Forget swimming around in them. I wanted to dive right in. Come sit next to me, he said. No sweeter words could have been said. I slid out of my side of the booth and sat on his side. I couldn't even control how close I scooted myself, and he even inched a little toward me too. We both silently reached for the enormous spoons the waitress had left us, and we dipped into the ice cream that had pooled a little on the sides from the heat of the chocolate drizzled on top of each scoop. Our elbows bumped. You're a lefty, I said, and licked chocolate from my fingers. And then I instantly became self-conscious about my tongue flicking out. Would he think that was sexy, or was my tongue gross looking, all coated with ice cream and chocolate? He nodded, the only one in my family, at least as far as I know. My brother is a lefty, I said, and he's a genius. Well, so am I. I felt stupid. Did he think I was surprised that he was a lefty and therefore surprised he was a genius? Why couldn't I ever get the words out in a clever way? But Kevin wasn't even paying attention to what I was saying. He was spooning ice cream and sliding it into his mouth, watching his lips open and close around the spoon. With a slight flick of his tongue, made parts of my body go completely liquid, parts I didn't know did that so easily. He caught me staring and smiled with the ice cream in his mouth. He swallowed the massive lump of ice cream and didn't cough or get a head cold like I knew I would. My body was so out of my control at this point that I couldn't even lift my spoon again for another bite. Kevin dipped his spoon in and retrieved a smaller amount with a ton of dripping chocolate. He put his hand under it as if to feed a baby, and he turned to me. Say ah! I became increasingly aware of my features, including my eyes, my lips, my hair. Wondering what I'd look like sitting there waiting for him to spoon feed me, waiting for his fingers to accidentally bump into my lips, waiting to put my mouth where his had been to feel the warmth of his lips through the spoon. I tasted the sweet chocolate, and after he took the spoon away, he reached out to my lips with his fingers, and I let my tongue come out, barely, to touch his fingers. And we sat there for what felt like hours. And then the waitress came to the table. How are you guys doing? Thought I'd bring you some ice water. Spell broken. We both laughed. That's exactly what I need, Kevin said, not taking his eyes off me. Cold water. Lots of cold water. The tiny waitress laughed and scurried away to get us water. Oh man, I am so stuffed. Kevin leaned back and patted his stomach. I closed my eyes and leaned against the wall of the booth. I might puke. I felt a warm arm around my waist, and his hand cupped my ribs, which, despite the bloated feeling of my entire abdomen, felt incredibly good. Kevin couldn't get a hold of his grandmother at the payphone outside, and he offered to walk me home, even though that would put him home really late. As I watched him adjust his baseball cap and squint down at me from the sunlight, I wanted to kiss him so badly. So I took a step forward and put a hand on his arm and stretched up, and then, Danielle Eleanor Fetter. My body came to a terrible screeching halt, and Kevin took a step back. Get in this car right now. I turned, and there was Mom, leaning out of the car, reading glasses hanging around her neck, and about to have a total cow. Nostrils flaring, eyes bulging. I couldn't make eye contact with Kevin. I broke away and ran to the car, and behind me, I heard him roll away on his skateboard.
What a place to end that. I'm so annoyed. I want to know. I want to read more now. So that was another brilliant reading from Hannah R. Goodman. She's not here, but that's incredible. Everyone should pick up her book. So we're on our last reading now, which is really sad, but also really exciting, because we've got William Beck. But what I am going to say just before I do his intro is we're going to hang around and do a little bit of a Q&A afterwards. So if you've got any questions, pop them in the chat and we'll have a chat afterwards with everyone. It's really exciting. I've got questions for them. So our next author is William Beck. William Beck was born and raised in Southport and has been writing stories for as long as he can remember, often over-delivering on all creative writing assignments since primary school. In later years, he was diagnosed with depression and ulcerative colitis and has done his best to raise awareness and support for those who suffer ever since. He also owns far too many notebooks. There's no such thing. So.
Hey, am I coming through okay? Okay, good, thank you. First of all, apologies for my voice and coming back from a cold. This story is an extract from a short story I was writing as part of an anthology in honor of a friend who passed away recently. It's called The Deal. So, Graham wasn't there when she died. Whilst his wife Rebecca let out her final breath, he had found himself stuck on the hard shoulder of the motorway with a faulty gearbox. It wouldn't be for another hour before he'd hear the news, but there was something curdling in his stomach that told him long before he would eventually reach the hospital. It would take a tow truck and 2 buses before he'd make it to Salford Royal Hospital, only to be met with an empty bed and the condolences of the passing nurses on their way to their next emergency. Graham fell to his knees. Morning swallowed his vision as his head rested against the side of the bed, one hand stretched out across it as if he waited to be held. His cries rang out into the hallway, quickly lost amongst the urgent stomp of feet and a dozen life support machines and patients that all screamed for attention. His vision slowly returned. Graham glanced around the room as if only now discovering where he actually was. He held her shirt against him. A dull scent of rose and lavender still lingered in the fibres. It was all that still showed any sign of life now. I'm sorry, Rebecca, he strained through a cracked throat. You shouldn't have had to do this alone. I'd give anything to bring you back. And it was in that moment where Graham felt an icy hand grip the top of his shoulder. I can help you with that. The voice was rough as gravel, and yet seemed to almost whisper amongst chilled air that ran like a shiver down Graham's back. He turned. He didn't know who, even what he expected, but what he saw was a short, stocky man in a well-cut grey suit, with a blue shirt and a cruel yet intoxicating smile. But it was his eyes that struck Graham the most. The eyes were a dark hazel that seemed to almost glow with flecks of a fiery amber. At once he seemed like any other man, and yet almost unmistakably like something else. I don't think you can. She's gone. But what if I could alter that? The man smiled, and the amber of his eyes erupted as if lava cracking through the surface. Graham stood up and faced the man now, his eyes still strained from sorrow, sized up this curious figure, offering such promises. I'd give anything to have her back. Well, then I'm sure we can come to some sort of arrangement. Do you have a picture of the lady in question? It just helps ensure our auditors can track down the right soul. His grin widened, flashing a hint of pristine white teeth. Who are you? An interested party with some good connections, said the man, his smile never faltering. Graham paused at this, as if trying to resist the answer that lurked in his thoughts. It wasn't that what he thought was unreasonable or even implausible, but simply a refusal to accept the truth of it, because who would knowingly do a deal with the devil? Instead, he slid his wallet from his jeans pocket, thumbed through the crumpled receipts, before finally he found an old and battered photograph that he pulled out and handed to the man. The man held it, but his eyes never broke from their unblinking stare into Graham's. Oh, she's very pretty, he said without affording the photo so much as a glance. But if I may be so bold, I assume you must know what is expected in payment for the return of her soul. So do forgive me, but I must know, what makes this one so special? Because I love her. Isn't that enough? No. You see, in my experience, such grander gesture and such self-sacrifice is rarely done for something quite as altruistic as simply love. So please, indulge me a little. The real reason. I failed her. She never asked for much, and yet even that I failed to give her. And I never even got to tell her that I was sorry. I let those words fumble around my tongue for so many years with only fear holding them back. I never got to explain my feelings as a partner, and instead I let the ambiguity of blame rot inside us both. She died feeling responsible for the misery I birthed. I can't do that to her. I want to make it right. I need to. So if my soul must burn so that she can feel a smile one more time, so be it. The two fell silent, reading each other like a couple of particularly wordy novels. So be it, said the man finally. So what are your terms? Be mindful of your wording, of course. This is quite a binding contract. My soul for hers. But give me a week. One more week with her so that I can right my wrongs and give her that happy ending I always promised but never delivered. The man clapped his hands together. Well then, that sounds perfectly reasonable to me. You have one more week on this earth with the woman with whom you have neglected, and then precisely 7 days from the moment in which she wakes, you will in fact depart this world, and your soul shall belong to me for all eternity. His hand snapped out towards Graham, waiting for him to complete the handshake and seal the deal. Graham reached out towards it, his hand freezing just beyond the devil's reach. Anxiety throbbed in his temples as a dozen doubts and contradictions battled for a singular voice. Was this really the right thing to do? In some ways he knew that it wasn't something Rebecca would have even wanted of him. But could he truly live with the guilt if he didn't take that only opportunity? He grasped the man's hand, whose cold fingers clasped down with an iron grip as an inferno seemed to blister from his palm and course through Graham's veins. He felt the skin on the back of his hand crack and pulse with the heat, whilst the tips of his fingers grew pale and frozen to the touch. The pain was excruciating, but he knew he couldn't let go, not until he was sure the deal was complete. But it didn't take long before the pain became blinding and Graham closed his eyes tight, trying as best as he could to think of anything else. But agony simply streaked flecks of colour across the black, like fireworks lit in the very darkness he thought might save him. Graham's body fell to the floor, and the last thing he heard was the unmistakable cackle of the man, the devil, to whom he now belonged. And that's it.
Thank you so much, William. That was such a wonderful tribute, I thought. So emotive.
I can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
I can now. Can you still hear me?
Yes, I can. So I was just saying that's a really wonderful tribute that you wrote there.
Oh, thank you.
So such emotive language. Do you use such emotive language in all your works? I know you're quite prolific, aren't you?
I don't know if I'd say prolific. I'm quite niche, I think, still so far. But yeah, I'm very much. It's more what I'm interested in as a writer of capturing the emotions and like the atmosphere of a moment and bringing that to life.
Yeah, I really felt that came through quite a lot.
Thank you.
And I do just have to ask, just while I've got you, you've got a cat in your picture, and I've been asked what the cat's name is.
His name, unfortunately, was Merlin.
Oh, Merlin.
Yeah. He was with me through when I first started writing. He used to sit on my shoulder and watch me as I wrote. And so when I started going into independent publishing and wanting to create my own production company, he was very much at the heart of it. And unfortunately, when he passed away, it became the obvious choice for me for a tribute photo.
And now he's immortalized.
Yes, exactly.
Yes, yes. How many? You've written a couple of books, haven't you?
Yes, I've got 2 horror books and a Christmas Carol adaptation that deals with mental health struggles, and then 2 short stories.
Wow, that's amazing.
Thank you.
Well, and you've got a universal link, don't you, to all of those?
Yes.
So, books to read.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Well, it's linked on your Twitter as well.
Yes, it is. Thank you.
That's great. Right, so I think we're going to bring everyone back and have a chat with everyone. If anyone's got any questions, please do put them in the chat. Everyone's here.
Woohoo!
Hello, we are summoned.
You guys smashed that.
Yeah, I was in
That's
awe
fun.
of all of you. I was just like, oh, I have to go back on now. God.
That was fantastic.
Should I start the first question?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, okay. So obviously the theme of this is a selection box, which if you're not British, a selection box is a treat that we get at Christmas where you get a cardboard box and it's filled with different chocolates. So if you were a chocolate, which chocolate would you be? I know Tim already started this earlier on Twitter. So I figured he could go first.
Sure, yeah. I think we established that I am either coffee flavored or caramel filled. I lean caramel filled, but I drink an obscene amount of coffee, so either works, really.
All right, don't all jump in at once. That's fine.
Name each person.
This feels like a really important decision.
We'll be turning you into that chocolate at the end. So what do you
Yes.
want to immortalize that?
Very Willy
Well, I
Wonka.
suppose we should pick a chocolate we don't want because I don't want to eat myself.
Oh, yeah. That's a good point.
In that case, mine would be coconut something.
Okay.
But
Mine. Oh, go on.
oh, I was just gonna say, but if it was something I actually liked, it would be peanut butter filled. So
Very good choice.
thank you.
I think I'd have to go for Maltesers because it's got
Yeah.
like a little soft texture, and then when you get through it, there's a whole other flavor, and I think that speaks to my anxiety quite well.
I think I would have to be something that's really nutty with salt on the outside. Nutty and salty.
I love it.
A little spice for the smut, right?
And yeah, and then some cayenne sprinkles.
I've heard that most people hate the ginger chocolate, so I think I'll be that one.
Oh, okay.
I love ginger.
That actually great.
And in America, I've heard those called samplers,
Oh, okay.
but a sampler is also like a quilt. So,
Is it?
Yeah.
or no,
mean,
like needlepoint, I think.
Oh,
Personally, wouldn't try to sleep underneath of a load of chocolates because I feel like that would get very messy. But I'm also not an expert.
I mean, live deliciously, Sarah.
Yeah.
Black Phillip says you should sleep
YOLO.
under a pile of chocolate.
No, you said that, and I was like, "Oh my god, Black Phillip would be so disappointed in me." Like,
It's never too late.
no, I think that was Buster though in that movie, but it's not the same, is it?
I don't know. I'd trade my awful fundamentalist family for a pretty dress and some butter too.
Yeah. Was it really a bad choice? I think is the question we should be asking, or why did she not do it sooner?
You know, I think it's just it's just a complicated matter. You know, they're the only family she had, the only family they knew, and they were banished because their dad was too fringy for the Puritans. So, yeah,
Yeah, it says a lot, doesn't it?
yeah. So, you know, I think when she finally saw an alternative, she was like, well, yeah, why not?
Yeah, she saw a goat speaking. She was like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nowhere to go but up.
no. Literally."
we do have a question from the audience. If I can
Yes.
share that with you guys.
Any tips for other writers? Maybe we haven't heard before. That's the hard part.
Yeah.
This is something that I'm sure has been heard before, but I feel like it bears repeating that comparison is the thief of joy.
Mm.
So Do not compare yourself to where other writers are, who they're being published by, who their agent is, whether they have an agent or not. Because I have not talked to one person whose journey was 100% the same as another's. Everybody's is completely different how they get there. And with that, it's also persistence. Like nobody becomes, even if you see them as an overnight sensation, they actually aren't. Like there's a lot that happens in the background there all before that. So that would be my advice.
For me, it's about capturing the little moments, and I find that I have notebooks that are themed for everything, and anyway, but I've also got some that have like perforated pages for when you get just that snippet of an idea where if you see someone walk funny, or there's just walking past, you see anything in the street that captures your imagination, you write that down, and then when you find a moment in the story where that'll work, you've got that essence of that moment living on that page that you can just rip out and put in the story. And I find that helps a lot when I'm writing, that I can just look back and think through actual things I've encountered in my day-to-day that have sparked inspiration.
That's cool.
Mine is maybe less of a universal tip, so I don't know if this will work for everybody. And you might have heard of it before, so sorry if it's a repeat, but I like to, when I am really struggling with getting into, I have a set time, I want to be writing right now, and just nothing is there, nothing's coming. What I'll do as a quick cheat to get my brain into it is I'll either take something of my own writing, or I will take someone else's writing that I really admire. I'll put it either on the screen in front of me, or on my Kindle or whatever, and I'll open a blank document and I'll start typing word for word what's there, and it just forces my brain into that quick, that it gives it that quick jolt. And next thing you know, I'm like, oh, I have an idea for what I was supposed to be writing. I jump into that, and next thing you know, 10 pages, perfect. It's just a little trick, but it does wonders. And it also,
Cool.
if you're doing it with something you admire or with your own text, you're absorbing it on some level. And I just find it's a great way to absorb from people I admire and start picking up tricks that they're using. Or in my own writing, it just helps me reflect on my own voice and develop it and nitpick maybe. And it's also a great way to edit. So it's an all capturing little trick. I highly recommend it.
That's fascinating.
It does wonders for me anyway.
That is a tip I've never heard before.
Oh, hey.
I have to try that now.
Yeah.
I've actually heard it applied more broadly, but it has a neurological basis that productivity, in artistic productivity, does not come from motivation. Motivation comes out of doing.
Yeah.
And I would tack on to that. You just have to sit down and write, or stand and write if that's your thing. You just have to do it. It sounds like patronizingly simple, but it's true. You just have to write.
Like
That's
Nike,
yeah.
just do it.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
Somebody who I admire, a different author, was talking about when you are worried about getting it perfect, like it needs to be like the best first draft or whatever. And they said when they get caught up in that, they will put a sticky note on their computer that says, I give myself permission to be a shitty writer today.
Yes.
Just get it out. Because you can't fix it if it's not there.
I've also heard the advice to end your writing for the day like mid-sentence or mid-thought,
Ooh.
because then it's going to bug you until you come back and keep going.
I would not be able to do that.
Yeah, that does not work for me, but I hear it all the time. Yeah. Yeah, no way. but it is, I think for some people it's very good advice. Yeah.
Yeah. No,
I also I tell my students, read a lot and read widely. Read read everything that interests you, fiction and nonfiction. Read romance, read science fiction, read sports fiction, read comics, read scripts, because all of these things are going to fill your cup and give you different perspectives on how to do things at the sentence level, at the paragraph level, and so on.
Yeah, I don't have a whole lot to add to that really, but I feel like, you know, I'm still always kind of learning, so I feel like giving advice is a little odd for me, but I will say make sure you believe in yourself and your art, you know, and play, because we put so much emphasis on work, but art isn't always work. It's sometimes play, and I think we would do well to play more, and to just experiment and try new things. Yeah, I guess that would be my big, and take opportunities, you know? Like I said, believe in yourself, so if somebody asks you to do a reading, do it.
Even if it's Sarah.
Yeah,
Even if.
Especially if it's Sarah.
Especially if.
That's
the
right.
amount of people who were like, "Oh my god, this went to spam," and I was like, "No, it didn't."
Nice.
Custom filter, Sarah.
Yeah.
We have some more questions that have been coming in, so I'm going to move on to the next one. Those were some awesome pieces of advice. So hopefully somebody can take something from that. So we have here from Daniel Lawn. I don't know why I went a little bit South African just briefly. I don't know what happened there. So how nerve-wracking was it to read your stories live on YouTube today?
Incredibly so.
You did fantastically.
You did it.
You did a really good job.
Yeah.
I think my nerves always come up right beforehand, like
Yeah.
the moment before I'm on the screen. And then once I'm going. It's almost like I've jumped out of the plane. So either the parachute is going to deploy or I'm going to die. Like that's kind of where my mental space goes. And I just let go.
I love attention. I love being the center of attention. So, yeah, you know, I worry about stumbling over words or if my stammer shows up, because, you know, it doesn't usually show up when I expect it to.
Yeah.
Things like that. But I also have practiced and practiced and practiced.
Yeah.
I cheated. I didn't do mine live, but but I have done live readings before, and it's always nerve-wracking, but it's always worth it in my opinion, because you are putting yourself out there and you're trying, and it doesn't have to be perfect. And you know, usually people are really supportive. So
I think when I started at writing, I had this nightmare of someday having to read in front of other people. and you know, because or even doing signings I love, but even then doing signings and live readings, and that part of it terrified me until I pushed myself to start doing my audiobooks. And even that I didn't go straight into. I started, you know, recording to hear myself and to as part of editing. So it was just a nice way to interact in a new way with the text and catch things, right? And change the rhythm to better to be more readable. Anyways, so because I leaned into it that way, just step by step by step, and now I've done so many audiobooks, and I've done a few live readings just on my own, like Twitter or whatever, you know. And that kind of helped. So because of that, this was just exciting. I was like, oh yay. And if you had asked me 2 years ago, I would have said, no, Sarah, go away.
You say that to me all the time.
I was going to say.
You can push yourself slowly. I think there are gradual ways to get past some of those misgivings and hesitations.
Yeah. I mean, this is a good place to start, because I feel like the people that watch the show and the people that were involved in organizing and sorting the show out will fuck up. Like, we're human beings, and I mean, I say stupid shit all the time. You just got to keep going, and people that watch you and see you just keep going, even if you stumble or you struggle or whatever. It's going to help other people to realize that, oh, it's not going to be that bad. Like, and if people laugh at you, then it doesn't matter. Like, for me, I have to give a shit about what that person's opinion is of me to care whether or not they're laughing at me. So it's just easy to just laugh with them as well. But you guys did such a phenomenal job. Like, this was, I almost got distracted and didn't do my job in the background. It was so dreamy. I loved it. It was so good.
I got distracted and didn't do my job, and I was hosting.
Oh gosh. So this next question, I am certain I know what the answer is going to be from all of you, without question. But I'm going to put it on here in the interest of just confirming.
Should we all answer at once?
Okay.
Oh, that was fun.
If you could try,
I don't know. What is it?
but everyone has different reading speeds. Are you ready?
Oh God.
Oh, that's the
What are
wrong
we
one.
doing?
That's the wrong one. Hang on. Are there too many authors?
No.
Oh.
3, 2, 1. No.
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 Not at all.
More people need to do art.
There are too few readers.
There you
Hmm.
Yeah.
I'm completely with LN. Like no one should be discouraged from making something creative.
Yep.
I do have to go, guys. I have an
That's okay.
appointment.
Thank
But,
you for
Thank you for
Thank
being
you for
here.
being
so
here.
much.
It's been lovely. Thank you so much.
Dylan.
Bye.
Thank you. Yeah, I knew that was going to be the answer, but I thought I'd just put it out there anyway.
That was fun.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Okay, so
Sometimes as a reader, I feel like there's too many books because I won't be able to get to them all.
Yeah.
The TBR
That-
problem is a
Yeah, but
problem.
that's not the same as there being too many people doing what they love.
Correct.
which is a wonderful problem. It really is. Sometimes that's why I don't always finish books. Don't be mad at me, because if I don't jive with a story, and I don't know if anybody else feels the same, there are too many books I want to read.
Same.
I've got to give
Same.
them,
Sappy.
you know.
hmm
I'm not gonna, if I'm, you know, when I was dating or whatever, if people didn't interest me or what, I'm not gonna keep dating them for the sake of it.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
I might try and look at it that way because I'm really bad for finishing a book even when I'm not enjoying it, because I've been excited to read it for months and it's like, right, I'm finally going to sit down, read it. It's not gelling. I feel like it's me. So I sort of push through until it to see if it'll work.
Yeah.
Oh.
I have this habit of listening to women who are older than me when they talk. And my friend Astrid Bear, who some of you may know, she said that she gives every book 50 pages.
That's a decent amount.
And, you know, I don't think that's rigid, but she's
No.
like, yeah, if I'm not with it after 50 pages, I'm just going to move on to the next one.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And yeah, you know, her time is too important, and mine is as well.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I'd just like to say thank you so far. There is another question, but thank you to everyone that arrived. Tyler, you're so late. You're so late. I'm glad you're here. And
Oh, let's go.
okay, Tyler's arrived. We've got to start again from the
Let's
start.
start over. Yeah. We can do that.
Chickadoo.
I can beatbox if you need.
So there is, I'm so sorry, I need to get my shit together. So we have a question from Jasper. So what is something about indie publishing that you didn't understand until you were deep in it?
Oh.
I'd like Sarah to also answer this question because she is also indie published.
Sarah doesn't know.
So I have sort of an answer. I didn't realize, no matter which way you go, that it never ends. And what I mean by that is, like, if you say you get an agent, and a lot of people think, I got an agent, that's it. I'm gonna be amazing. But that's like, it doesn't even begin there. Like, that's just one hurdle that you could overcome if you were really wanting to get an agent versus doing it all yourself.
Mm.
And then when you start marketing a book, that never ends. Like it'll release and you're like, yay, but then you have to tell more people about it and more people about it and more people about it. And it just never stops until you decide you're done.
Mm-hmm.
So there's always going to be new people you can reach. And I think I didn't necessarily get that it's just this perpetual, just go. And the next thing that you do is like, just keep writing the next book, just keep writing the next book, just keep writing the next book. Like that's always the thing that you hear. And I don't think I really understood that until I was in this universe.
Mm.
People have this superstition or stereotype that authors tend to be alcoholics.
Mm.
But I think it's the other way around. I think alcoholics make good authors.
Oh,
and let me explain, because you have to have a certain obsessive nature in order to keep doing a thing, even if you're not getting what you want out of it. And I think that's why a lot of people who have substance abuse difficulties do end up being very prolific, because it doesn't matter maybe if people respond well to what they're putting out in the world. Yeah. Also, on kind of the opposite end of the spectrum, I hope, I don't know anyone who writes full time that is single.
no.
Anyone I know who is a full-time writer has a partner who is the breadwinner.
Yeah.
It's like this for the artists I know, and like we even call it partner privilege.
Yeah.
Like what affords you the time to do this? So yeah, that's a thing that's real.
I'd throw out, I have found in my case, it's not something I learned along the way. It's more I borrowed it from other places in my life and realized, oh wow, this makes a massive difference. The dream is to write full time, but this applies both to, I don't want to sound shallow when I say this, but this applies to marketing and to writing.
That's not shallow. That's realistic.
Reality.
What I'm about to say might sound shallow at first, and it's that the biggest thing I needed to bring into my writing right away, and once I did this, it changed everything for me, was service to others, which sounds like, you'll see, like, I don't want that to sound to come across as shallow motivation for doing it, but the simple truth is, the moment I started, offering, for example, free chapter edits to people, just as a way to see what other people were doing and to help them in some way. But it also then immediately opened up editing work for me. Overnight, that became now that's essentially the heart of my living, is getting to edit for other authors. Did not expect that, because I had only really, I had editing experience from university, but not in the fiction context. So that came out of nowhere for me. And then that turned into contest judging, service, like finding ways to help other authors or just contribute, and it bleeds back into my writing. So really, it still feels very selfish to me, because I'm like, oh, thank you so much, thank you for the money, but also this, Also, I'm definitely a better writer now for having done that. So you find ways. I'll say this, yeah. So all the full-time authors I know, they have partners, so I still need to work on that. But the other one is all of the really successful authors, I think I could say this across the board, have found a way to do something for the community.
Yeah, I feel like along those lines, I got asked a lot in the beginning, how do you get beta readers? How do you get so many beta readers without having to pay for it, without going to Fiverr or whatever? And the answer is, you beta read.
Yeah.
Like you exchange beta reads with people. That's how you get beta readers.
Oh,
he's back.
Was it just me who disappeared?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Because it disconnected and came back up on my end, so I apologize. I'm here. I'm still here.
And on the note of beta reading,
Mm.
everybody needs an editor.
100%.
So, offer that. And also, by God, please let someone else edit your work.
Yes.
Whoever edits you also has an editor that edits their work.
Mhm.
Yes.
PSA to all the
Mhm.
writers.
You
Uh,
cannot edit your own stuff, or you can only edit it to a certain point.
And if you're a real fool, you self-publish to Amazon with your ChatGPT logs still in the manuscript.
Which is not writing.
No. The worst thing about that story is that, not that she self-published her work with the ChatGPT paper trail still in the manuscript, but that part of that ChatGPT paper trail was her writing, can you edit this chapter to sound more like this specific author?
Jeez Louise, pepper cheese.
So, don't be that person.
Yeah.
Don't be that person.
Yeah.
Don't.
Pay someone.
Yeah.
Do we have any other answers? William?
No, I think Tim covered it quite well, basically, of you get knee deep in the community and help everyone. It's how you thrive. I know I found it a lot more freeing than I thought I would, because when you have that first decision of whether you try and go traditional publishing or indie, it was a case of, well, if I go traditional, I feel like they'll cater to this and this and this for me. Like they'll take the marketing off my hands and all that. And then the more I hear from the people who are querying, it's like, no, you're doing all of the things that I'd still have to do anyway.
Yep.
But
At
I've
your
got
expense.
more control. So the more I get into indie writing, I don't understand the benefit of traditional publishing as much.
I know a brilliant writer who she got a $250,000 advance
Wow.
for her memoir that wasn't written yet. And then the publisher, who was one of the big New York 5, just did nothing to promote it. And the book tanked.
That's horrendous.
Yeah. And so you have people who are able to lose $250,000 without it being too much trouble to them, who are making decisions about whether your book gets any promotion or not.
Yeah.
So indie, like for me, I have so much more creative control. I choose who does my book covers. I get a say in if, who's the voice actor who would do the audiobook.
Yeah, makes a huge difference.
I think indie publishing is also so much like freer as well. I like the amount of risks I've taken that I never would have taken. Like, I'm going to serialize some fiction, and that goes all right. Okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to talk to a friend about doing an open mic, hosting an open mic on her channel, and I have the ability to do that because I'm not locked into all these contracts as well.
Absolutely. Well, thank you guys. If we've got time, I think there are a couple more questions. If anybody needs to dip out, then please do. Please don't.
I have nowhere to go.
But if you can stay, make space for you. Okay, so I've got to go through all these freaking messages from Tyler. Okay, so we have another question from Ed. So, no, it wasn't a question. It was just a note from earlier. Joe Abercrombie is this week pushing his first novel because it's 20 years since it came out. He's urging people to buy it. So yeah, it never ends. It's true. Yeah, it's just perpetual thing. Why am I clicking on it again? I'm so sorry. Okay. So we have a question from Jasper. So another question, if there's time, when you look back at your earlier work, what is one thing that you used to do that you've never let yourself get away with?
All of it.
Everything.
Everything.
It's all bad.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, and I'll say this maybe more about indie than trad, but no, there are equivalents in the trad sphere, but in the indie sphere, you get to experiment in the market. So some people will say you shouldn't publish until it's a masterpiece, and I just don't believe that. And so it means that, yeah, the first thing you do your utmost editing, formatting, beta reading, ARC readers who can sometimes give you some last minute help, but you get my point, is it's still going to be imperfect. And you're experimenting, you're putting something out there, you're learning about yourself, you're getting real feedback from paying readers who say, nope, not what we're expecting, not what we're hoping from this. You learn, you grow, as Evan said earlier, you fill yourself with everything you can that will help you improve as you go, because it never ends. And then you try again and again. And I'll let you know where I'm at like 5 years from now, and hopefully I've gotten rid of some more bad habits. But I can see it in my own writing, and I've heard it from readers, and I'm sure we all have that experience. My fear is, okay, what about the time where you put something out and it's a little worse than the last thing, and someone tells you so, and you're like, crap, what did I do? But you just keep going. You just keep going. 20 years from now, I want to be able to say the same thing as Joe. Hey, look back at this, right?
Small stupid thing. Yeah, I used to not like my punctuation with specifically quotations. I would always put the period or the comma outside instead of inside. That's my stupid one. That will never happen again, because I had to go through a whole manuscript and fix them all, and I was like, I hate my life. I hate my life. I hate my life.
That's so upsetting.
That was terrible. The other thing, in my earliest draft, I thought I was being cool, but it just, like, looking at it, you're like, this doesn't work. I did a switch from like present first person to past third person in like the way that the story unfolded. And then it was actually, I was querying, and an agent told me, I like this, but it all needs to be in the same tense. And I was like, she's wrong. Obviously, she doesn't understand. But then I revised it, and I was like, damn it, she's right. I hate her. She's dumb. So experiment, I think, is good, but then being open to feedback about what's not working is also very important.
Yeah, I don't think I'll ever argue with an editor again.
Yeah.
Tell us about a time you argued with an editor.
Yeah, you must.
Now I want to know.
Well, someone was taking submissions for an anthology. And this,
oh no!
oh, wait.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay, you're back.
Okay. Yeah, so much younger writer, and this editor was doing a tribute to a certain author's work that I have loved since I was a child. And I wrote something and sent it in. And it wasn't the fact that it got rejected, because everything I wrote got rejected in those days. It was the fact that the main reason for the rejection was given as, it seems like a reader would need to really know the source material in order to get this story. And I was like, what the fuck are you putting together out there? Like, you're putting an anthology together that's a tribute to one author and one particular world of theirs, one mythos. And then you're saying, like, oh, people would have needed to read that in order to understand what's going on in your story. And I argued, and I would not do that again. I would just say, okay, thank you, and then blacklist that editor, who probably blacklisted me because I argued with him. That's all. Oh, I can't.
I was
can't
on mute.
There you are, Saf.
There we go.
On mute. That's why you can hear me. Does anyone else have any confessions that they want to make? Or we
Bless us, Safi and Sarah, for we have sinned.
I don't know. I think this is true of my first book, then luckily the other two. But another blessing of being an indie author is you can subtly go back, make a quick change in the file. As long as if it's something small, you can make the quick change and put it back up, and future readers won't catch it because it's not there. For little grammar things or little, like I think it was a few months ago, but I caught some capitalization issues that were just very subtle. No one's commented on it, but I realized, oh no, that should be capitalized. Come on, I know better. What the heck? And little things. So I go in, but so yeah, little habits you catch later, and you can change after the fact. Oh.
I just got the wildest deja vu. That was crazy. You didn't need to know that, but he's not got a better
We're here for it.
You were going to tell us more, and then you just didn't.
Is this your villain origin story? Is it starting now?
It started when I was fucking born. I came into the world and went, oh, I'm going to be a problem. My goodness. Okay, we have another question, and then we're going to start winding it down, because I know that for our Brits it's getting really late, and I feel bad. Okay, so it's another one from Jasper. So do your stories come to you as scenes, characters, or a single line, and how often does that change by the time you finish the book?
I mean, yes.
That's a great answer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
There's always that one little thing. It might be you've got a cool idea for a scene. You see someone that you just want to throw in a book and just be a line you think of, and then just how that snowballs, especially if you're not someone who plots, which it will change 1,000 times. I've got a fantasy book that I think I've had on the back burn for 10 years now, possibly 11. That's changed from being sci-fi when it started, like it was something very Firefly-ish, and it's gone all the way to being a bit more Terry Pratchett. So it's gone through quite a lot of revisions, and it's maybe a third of the way done.
Wow.
Because you just discover new things about the story, and these bits that you find even more interesting, it rewrites the whole world for you, at least for me.
Sure.
The reading I did, the main character of that prologue, and one of the main characters of the book, is based on. So this is one time where it was the character that came. It's definitely been all of these, but in this case, Tambrin ap Cynfar is a bit of a play on a family, or my best friend's brother-in-law, essentially. And he kind of made a joke at one point about making him a character, and I knew exactly how I wanted him to be, and I instantly turned him into the root of all evil in my world. And it's just wonderful.
Amazing.
That's the best gift I could give a friend, but yeah. So turned him into a maniacal serial killer kind of character in a fantasy world. So it's all over the map, but very satisfying.
What an honor.
Yeah, very satisfying to do that for a friend.
What an honor.
He's terrible.
I do so yes, again, all of these, but the time when it happens most for me is going to be when I call it my writing without writing playlist. And so it's either when I'm running or when I'm driving, I will play that playlist, and then it's like scenes just happen in my head to the song or the lyrics, or just like this idea, or if I'm writing something specifically at that moment and I just need to get to the next part, then it's like I can see it then happen when I'm listening to that music. Music's very powerful for me.
I have nothing to add.
There's no obligation. We don't have to.
Oh, and how often does it change by the time you finish? It depends on the book. I call my 3 books that I'm working on right now, or one of them's out, like they're my 3 children, and my first one is my Ship of Theseus, and it just got taken out and put in and taken out and put in. It's not even the same book anymore as when it started. My second one is my perfect baby that like walked on day 1 and never cried and always ate. And my third one is my colicky fucking child that just would not behave and just threw tantrums and is like pulling teeth just to get words down for that one. Every single project is different.
Yeah, I knew I knew the big reveal in Better Living Through Alchemy before I started it, and I thought it was going to be a short story, but it had so much more to give. So yeah, that one really didn't change much. Posthuman, the new RPG that came out yesterday, that one, of course, they all evolve over time. During the process of writing it, I had to rethink how I wanted to present superheroes because the Black Lives Matter uprising of 2020 happened, and I was like, okay, these can't just be super cops because that's not going to fly. They have to be a lot more tender, and they have to have more like internal accountability among each other. Stuff like that. They're not just people that a government points in a direction and says, go get them.
Well, my friends, this has been amazing. I really love all of you very much. And I'm so glad that you were all able to come. And thank you so much to Sarah for organising this. This was the first ever book selection box, and it won't be the last. So as long as Sarah wants to come back, we'll probably do this every quarter.
I guess I'll stay. Yeah, we're going to do this quarterly. So
Awesome.
So keep an eye on the because Sarah might be creeping in there, hitting you up for a show.
You always make me sound awful. I'm sure you do.
She might stop you
slide me
in
all
the middle of the night.
It's because I'm in the UK, so it is the middle of the night for you lot. But it's normal time. It's daytime for me.
Oh dear. Well, I'm going to start winding this down now. Thank you again, to you all. I'm struggling with words, and I'm going to jumble them up, and you have to make them make sense in your own heads.
Oh, great!
She's out. Drop the mic, walk away. She's
I'll try that again. Thank you all so much for being here today. This was incredible. If you joined us live, thank you so much for being here with us. If you're watching the recording, thank you also from the past for being here. Make sure you go check out all of this incredible work. There are links in the description below. I've made it very easy for you, so go do it. Any last words, Sarah?
No, just thank you all to everyone for coming and for reading, and thank you, Saffron, for letting me do this.
My pleasure.
Even though you have been saying things about me recently.
I do that when I really love people.
Yeah, we'll have a talk about that later.
I need to see a counsellor, I think. On that note, I'm going to wave goodbye. Feel free to wave as well if you want to.
Thank you both so much.
Farewell.
Thank you.
I'm waving here.
I'll wave for.